I used to think my growth was limited by what I already knew because I felt what I know is enough for me until I started listening to voices that shaped my entire perspective, taking it from this angle to this angle. Hi, I'm Warren, and on this channel, I share knowledge that is constantly shaping me in this life. So, on today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my leisure time playlist, 5 podcasts I listen to that is currently building me, shaping me, and changing my mind and perspective on how I see things. And the last one, trust me, it changed everything completely about me. Stay tuned. So, the first podcast on my list, I will not consider this a podcast. I call it a masterclass. It's beyond a podcast. And anything that has to do with Aliko Dangote. Why do I listen to Aliko Dangote? Aliko Dangote is the richest Nigerian, richest African, and richest black man. Now tell me, how does that feel to listen to someone like that? I listen to Aliko Dangote because I want to know how the world is going. I want to know where the world is leading to. There's something about listening to people with wealth. There's a way they speak. There's a way they live their lives. There are habits you need to learn from them. Sincerely, I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, this person is rich, is already made. What do I have to learn from him? It's not like he came from nothing. But I can assure you that listening to these people is going to do something to your life. For example, Dangote was interviewed recently by Nicola Tangin. And in this interview, he spoke about Africa and where Africa is going to. He said when he started his business, he never thought he would be this rich, but he's never been more confident than he is right now to even do more. He was interviewed by James Dumoulin, the guy that does this School of Hard Knocks. I'm sure all of us we've seen it on social media, so you know what I'm talking about. Dangote was interviewed by this guy, and Forbes says his net worth is $30 billion, I guess. But that's not true. Actually, we know Dangote is worth more than that because if you listen to that podcast with Nikolai, you would discover that he worth more than that because his refinery, there's going to be an extension of it very soon. One thing I like about listening to Dangote, for me personally, is that it teaches me to be confident. It teaches me to be daring. Do you know, Dangote is someone that likes to dare things. He likes to take course. And if you don't listen to people that will spur you up like that, challenge you to do things, I can assure you, your growth is going to be stunted at some level. And if you want to know how to pitch that great idea of yours, you should listen to Dangote because when he begins to speak to his investors, whoever they are, he doesn't go by saying, this, I think it will work. That man knows how to articulate his words. Very intelligent man. You should listen to him because you will know it's not like you're going to find it in a playbook somewhere. But when you listen to podcasts that they are interviewing Dangote, you're going to hear his mind. You're going to know his mind, not just hear it. You're going to know his mind and know what to do. And you should also know how to call big figures. Yes, you want to pitch to that investor and you're like, the thing that I want to do is big, oh, and I know it's going to be well, it's going to come out well. Like if you put money in this thing, it's going to be good, but it's big money. I cannot, it's big money. I just know it's going to work. No, don't talk like that. When you are calling 1 billion, let it sound like 1 billion. When you're calling 100, you've not seen the money, it's fine. But when you acclimatize yourself with people like this, I can tell you that becomes your way of life. It becomes easier for you to say things like that. You're not scared of saying $1 billion. You're not scared of saying $10,000. You're not scared of saying any amount because you're used to it. You think this thing is a joke until you meet a client or an investor, potential investor, and then you want to pitch an idea to them and it gets to, okay, so what's the cost of this thing? And you're like, it's not that much. You won't talk like that because they're not going to take you serious, honestly. Just try it and see. Try pitching to somebody and what you're pitching for is like 1 billion. You will know how you know how heavy and weighty 1 billion is in the mouth. But when you listen to Dangote, haba, you know how to call it better. Second on my list, when we're talking about people I listen to, What Makes You Human by Alhan Islam. That's her stage name. If you know her, Alhan Islam, she's a poet. But then her name is Mariam Booker Hassan. Oh my God. One thing, two things rather, that stands out when you hear Mariam: eloquence and relatability. Tell me you've seen someone with great eloquence without mentioning their names. Then play Mariam's video. Who is the first Nigerian to ever be a flag bearer of the Olympics? Mariam. Why do I listen to that podcast particularly? Let's not even go into the poetry aspect of Mariam. You know, there's this stereotype of people in the North as unintelligent or very dull people, especially the women. But I can debunk that because I'm from the North, voila. And Mariam is from the North. It's so amazing that she has done so much for herself. Why do I listen to this podcast? This particular podcast, she gets to interview high prolific people, individuals that you're not going to meet on a regular day. And she invites them to their podcast. At the end of the day, when you drop this position, when you come down from this high place to our level, what makes you human to feel you can associate? You think it's not a thing until you get to a high place and you discover that it's not that easy. Do you know what power can do to you? I have no idea. So listen, there's this particular woman. Let me check her name out. She's okay. Yeah, Lieutenant General
Cheryl Pierce
Yes.
is a three-star general and the acting military advisor for UN peacekeeping operations, overseeing more than 53,000 peacekeepers across 11 countries. She is the first woman to lead these complex global military efforts. But beyond the ranks, the medals and the missions, from Cyprus to Afghanistan, this conversation asks a calm question. When the uniform comes off, what reminds her that she is human, just like the rest of us? Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Cheryl Pierce.
And why do I listen to this podcast? Because I know I'm going to somewhere in this life that I'm going to be so high. Yeah, you're going to watch out for me in the future. I'm going to be so high, and I need that. You need that balance in your life, even at work. Now, I know we're all young people, but how about those that are not young people listening to this? And even young people, you can find young people that they are so, as young as they are, they've gotten to high places in life that it seems as though they are unapproachable. But then what makes them human? Realizing the things around you. For me, what makes me human are my sisters who, when I realize, or when they call me, my sisters are one of the most incredible humans I've found in my life. And I'm grateful that I have them as sisters. It makes me feel human again to know that, oh, I can relate with these girls. They don't even care. Whatever I do, wherever I am, all they just know is that I'm their sister. That makes me human. You should listen to that podcast. What makes you human? And she doesn't drop the podcast like every month, maybe once in a while. But when you go to her page, you're going to find it there. What makes you human? The third one on my list, if this was to be in order of priority, then it should be the first. Declassified podcast. Speak to me about faith and intelligence. Speak to me about wisdom and depth. Then you've gotten me through Declassified Podcast. Femi Lazarus is the convener of Declassified Podcast. On this podcast, he gets to interview individuals in different spheres of life. You talk about fatherhood, parenting, intelligence, finances, mention it, any part of life, health. You're going to find it there. There was this particular interview he had with this guy, Adeshino, the money guy. And then it blew my mind. Quite a number of things he said about wealth, changing environment, and the way we think, the way we look at some places in Nigeria as our mini paradise. And then when he moved from, where he was to Abuja, he thought he had gone to paradise. And then he moved to Qatar. He was thinking of Abuja as like, what is this? And then I listen to things that are going to help me build my health and know how the world is actually going globally to shape my mind as a young person. I'm going to mention just 5, okay, maybe 4, but you can check out the rest. I'm going to mention them right here. And I love Dr. Stella so much. Who knew that doctor that during COVID, she did a lot? That, oh my God, you should listen. That was my first Declassified podcast I listened to, and it blew my mind. COVID is the Trojan War. I think it's one of the most popular of his podcasts on his channel. You should check that out. I have a list of them right here. I can go on and on about this podcast, and the one I listened to with Ejimi, the profitable investor. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me leave it there. I'm just going to list them out for you. We've got right here COVID was a Trojan War with Dr. Stella. There is this one about health. And now sorry, I didn't capture her name, but she's a Ghanaian woman that he invited. And they spoke extensively about health and how she was able to reverse cancer and some stuff, situations like that. So amazing, though. Okay, I don't think I have that on my list right here, but I have The Crisis of Modern Man with Ejimi, the profitable investor. Oh my God, that man has been my number one money man from the one. And there's this one with Adishino, What No One Tells You About Modern Wealth. That guy, you should follow him on Instagram too. Then, yes, I think that's all I have right here. Okay, the one with the Ghanaian woman is, if you understand this, you won't live in sickness. You should listen to that if you're a young person looking for holistic growth. When I mean holistic, I also mean faith and intelligence, but not just faith and intelligence, even in your health, anything you need to know. Think of the way you listen to Diary of a CEO. You're going to find anything you want on that page. So make sure you subscribe to that channel, Femi Lazarus, and check out for Declassified podcast. Number 4, I don't know what you think about this, but this particular one should count as a podcast because it does count as a podcast on Spotify. So it should count as a podcast here. Listening to Apostle Joshua Selman. This may be quite biased, but then that man is a man of intelligence. I won't say move the preacher side away from him, but you see intelligence. Oh my God. You see holistic growth. Someone that your understanding is not lopsided. I'm a believer and I love the Lord. I can go over and over again sermons you should listen to. Is it spiritual intelligence? Is it the recent one, redefining fatherhood? Is it complete deliverance? Is it mystery of deliverance? Oh my God. Where do I start from? But amen. Yeah. Listen to that man. And as a young person, if there was this moment of my life that this drastic shift happened. And it was sincerely after I listened to this sermon he preached. My mom gave me that sermon. I just got into uni and I didn't even know I had the sermon on my phone. Just, during that COVID period, just doing my thing and just really everybody wanted to make something reasonable out of life. And okay, let me listen to this. The title of the sermon is A Glorious Destiny. I'm going to look for it and probably attach it right there. The link, you're going to find it below. That sermon taught me this. Now, this was me, a young girl trying to navigate life. Of course, my dad is late. And okay, now I'm in uni. What do I want to do with my life? How do I want to go about life? I want to live a different life. I want things to be good for me. And I came from a place where I would say I was comfortable, but things changed. It wasn't the same. And that sermon taught me this. Okay, things have happened. Your dad died along the way. He was like, I'm sorry to say this, but you need to hear it. I need to press this thing into your heart like an iron. So it's I'm sorry, there's a way that man speaks, and it's like he's talking to you, he's looking right into your eyeballs like this. And I'm like, who is this person? To not discover he was from the north and from my state. No, it blew my mind because, well, let's not go into that stereotype. People from the north, and particularly my place. I'm not even gonna do that. But if you know, you know. That's changed my mind. And since then, I've never been the same. Now for the last one. 31 lineage. I told you that the last one, it did so much to me. You may not want to believe it, but this is for me. 31 lineage. 31 lineage. I'm just going to speak about her a little. So I got to know 31 lineage as a young lady, building her life, loving the Lord as always until forever. And She's such an incredible human being and a phenomenal human being. I was young too, and I needed clarity. I felt quite a number of things synchronized with me and her. She loved the Lord. I loved the Lord. She wanted meaning out of life. I wanted meaning out of life. She was optimistic. Oh, Jesus. Her optimism was something that kept me stuck on her page every day and every moment. Recently, she made a post of 10 years back. You know, was it last year now or early this year? This post that trended of they were doing 10 years back of this, I did this and I did that. And she likes trends, yeah. But then she's such a very decent and modest lady. She did this, and I saw that write up where a reminder came to her of a post she made 10 years back that talks about her having the things that she wants: a good family, a Christian home, a good husband, and all. This lady was young. You know, it's very funny to talk confidently when you're young and you've not seen results. A lot of people can look down on you. But who are you? Hey, hey, who is he that saith a thing when the Lord has not said it? You know, I was quite daring too. And I am up to now. And I was confident about life, but a lot of people, they wanted to be like, that thing that Paul told Timothy: don't be scared. Don't let anybody challenge you because you think you're young. I got a lot of that, and some felt I was doing too much. And I needed something that would resonate with me, and I stumbled on 31 lineage. This lady was so confident about life. She didn't have everything yet, but she knew that all things were going to work out. Yet, from a background of faith, she believed in God to do all of this for her. But she's human too. I'm sure she had her downsides some days. But this lady gave me so much confidence. And when you talk about holistic growth too, you talk about faith, you talk about life, you talk about building a Christian home because she's married yet. This lady, she has such an interesting life, yeah? Because I look up to her, really. I do look up to her. When you talk about building a Christian home, oh my God, she's not even taking God far away or an inch from anything she's doing. So that in itself, the age difference is not so much. And why am I bringing up the age difference? Not because it matters so much, but we tend to look down on people that are not too older than us, or age, with the same age. You feel there's nothing I can learn from this person, but I can assure you some are actually wiser. They have the wisdom of the ancient. You should listen. Don't follow age when you're doing this thing of wisdom. It's true, age is important, but in fact, not every old person is wise. So why rely on age? Before I move on to tell you why I listen to this podcast, I'm glad to tell you that everything 31 lineage ever professed into our life, they all came to pass, and they're still coming to pass, yeah. So the reason why I listen to this podcast is because they are beyond podcasts. They are life lessons, they are life manuals. This is going to build you holistically. When I talk about holistically, I mean spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's going to build you in every sphere. And each of these individuals that I've mentioned, you're always going to hear them recommend a book for you to read about something and this. But when you talk about holistic growth too, I can recommend Miles Monroe for you to read and study. You're going to see a lot change in your life when you study that man's books. I bet you, and I can guarantee you that. So I want you to drop it in the comments. Which of these podcasts are you going to start listening to today? Not tomorrow, today, after you finish listening to this one. Drop it in the comments for me and tell me which podcast have you been listening to and which one are you listening to currently that is shaping your life and doing a lot more than you can think of or imagine. Well, I think only the power of God has the power to do that. But then which podcast is shaping you? Drop it in the comments and I'm going to see you in my next video. Stay jiggy.